Hello students, today I will continue my topic digestive system. Till now we have studied the basic organs of alimentary canal and the mechanical digestion of food with the help of teeth and tongue. Now then food reaches to the stomach. I have told you that food enters in the buccal cavity in which it mixes with the saliva, then food becomes sticky and soft for easy swallowing. Then it passes through the esophagus and reaches to stomach where it stores for 4 to 5 hours, and in acidic medium protein, carbohydrate and fat digest. Now today we will discuss the most important topic of digestive system. You might have heard some terms related to this, that is small intestine, large intestine, appendix or rectum. Today and then we will discuss the whole mechanism of digestion, and then we will take a small topic of disorders of digestive system. So let's start first of all with the small intestine, which is the most important part for digestion as well as absorption of alimentary canal. So let's start with the small intestine. Small intestine starts from the pyloric end. Pyloric end is the end part of the stomach and it ends at the large intestine. The length of small intestine is approximately 7 meter and it is the organ in which maximum digestion and absorption occur. So it is the most important part of whole alimentary canal. Small intestine is divided into 3 parts. First of all, duodenum, which is the shortest part, and first part, widest and fixed part of a small intestine. It is important for biochemical digestion. Biochemical digestion is the digestion which takes place with the help of enzymes. Jejunum, the second part of small intestine, which is the central part, lies between duodenum and ileum. In this part, absorption mainly takes place of the digested food with the help of special types of cells. These special type of cells responsible for absorption are known as enterocytes. Then comes the last part, that is the terminal part of small intestine. This is ileum, in which absorption takes place. There is no digestion in ileum. In ileum, absorption takes place mainly of nutrients, example bile salts and vitamins, which are not absorbed in the jejunum. So ileum just absorbs the things which are not absorbed in jejunum. Small intestine performs the functions of both, that is digestion as well as absorption. For efficient absorptions, we require a large surface area, so maximum amount of food, nutrients, water can be absorbed. So there are some modifications in the inner layer of small intestines. There are total 4 modifications in the layer of intestine. First of all, it is greater in length. It is even greater than large intestine. Small intestine is small in terms of diameter, but it is longer than the large intestine. First of all, the modification is greater length of intestine. Second one is presence of permanent deep folds. These permanent deep folds, that is, they are not present like this straight one, they form this kind of structure. Then third one is the villi. These are the extensions, tubular muscular extensions, which also increases the surface area. Fourth one is microvilli. Micro means small, that means it is smaller than the villi. Then comes the large intestine. Large intestine is larger in terms of the width, that is in diameter. First of all, there are several bacteria present in large intestine which helps in digestion of remaining undigested food. These bacteria digest the food with the process known as fermentation. Fermentation is the process which is carried out in the absence of oxygen, and this condition, that is in the absence of oxygen, is known as anaerobic conditions. Large intestines performs a very little role in digestion and absorption. Mainly digestion and absorption is performed by small intestine. But then what large intestine does? The main function of large intestine is to absorb minerals and water and store undigested food before it removes through the anus. So now large intestine is divided into 3 parts. First of all, cecum, second one is colon and third one is rectum. So first of all, we will discuss cecum in detail. Cecum is situated just after ileum. Ileum was the last part of small intestine. Cecum is guarded by a valve known as ileocecal valve. Valve is a gate-like structure which allows only unidirectional flow of movement of any substance. At the last part of cecum, a 4 to 5 inch tubular structure, that is vermiform appendix, is present. You might have heard about vermiform appendix. The word vermi means worm-like. The structure just looks like a worm. It is a vestigial organ in human, that there is no particular specific function in human, but at the earlier time there was a specific function when human take only raw material of cellulose. But now according to the human need and environmental conditions, it becomes vestigial. Second one is the colon. Colon is a long inverted U-shaped structure in which mainly undigested food or feces are stored. Feces consist of three parts. First one is ascending, which means going upwards. It is a smaller part of 15 centimeter length. Second one is the horizontal, which is longest part of colon, which is 50 centimeter long. Then comes descending part, that is going downwards. Its length is 25 centimeter. Then also comes a smaller part, sigmoid, which is a little bit swollen part, and its length is 15 centimeter. These colon are bounded by a band-like structure made up of fibers. The length of these bands are shorter than the colon, so colon by binding to these bands form a pouch-like structure. In these pouches feces are stored. These are known as outpouchings. Like the contractions in esophagus is known as peristaltic movement, contractions in stomach are known as churning movements. Like that, in the colon the contractions are known as mass action contraction. Rectum, which is the last part of the large intestine. Its length is approximately 20 centimeter. It is the storage chamber for the undigested food, and undigested food are known as feces. Rectum opens to a canal which is known as anal canal. It finally leads to the anus, through which the undigested food leads to outside the body. There are two sphincters present in anal canal. I have told you what sphincter is. Sphincter allows the unidirectional movement of any substance. So, internal anal sphincters, these are involuntary in nature, that is they are not under any human control. And the second one is the external anal sphincters. These are voluntary and are the organisms and are under the control of any organism. So, till now we have discussed the organs of alimentary canal, and now we will discuss the glandular portion, that is digestive glands, which pour their secretions so that they can help in the biochemical process of digestion. So, first of all we will discuss salivary glands, which secretes saliva in the buccal cavity, which makes the food soft and sticky in a bolus like structure, that is a ball like structure, so that there is ease of swallowing. First part of saliva is liquid part. This part wets the food, and the second one is sticky mucosa, which makes the food soft and sticky. The secondary function of saliva is to clean the teeth, mouth and tongue. Sometimes food stucks in our mouth, so there can be a bacterial growth due to that present food. So, in saliva there is an enzyme, that is lysozyme, which kills those bacteria, so they help in cleaning of teeth, mouth and tongue. In humans, three pairs of salivary glands are present. First one is the parotid gland, which is the largest one. It is located near the ear, that is it is found in the cheeks. It secretes only the liquid part of saliva, and it also secretes an important enzyme of digestion, that is salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of starch. Approximately 30% starch is digested in the buccal cavity. This enzyme is mainly secreted by the parotid gland. There is one disorder that is actually a viral infection, that is known as mumps. Mumps is a viral infection of parotid gland. Then second one is the submandibular or submaxillary gland, which is located near the junction of upper and lower jaw. You can see the location of the glands in the diagram given in your textbook. Submandibular or submaxillary gland secretes the maximum amount of saliva. It is a mixed gland. that is it secretes both type of saliva, that is liquid part as well as the mucus part. Third one, which is the smallest gland, that is sublingual gland, located below the tongue and secretes only the mucus part. It is the smallest gland as well as secretes the minimum amount of saliva. Next topic is composition of saliva. First of all, the main composition of saliva is water. Approximately 99.5% of saliva is made up of only water, that is the liquid part of saliva. Second one is the sticky mucosa. So, second part is mucus. Some ions like potassium ion, sodium ion and hydrogen carbonate are also present in the saliva. Fourth one is IgA antibody. These antibodies helps in protection from bacteria. These antibody IgA are also present in colostrum. Now colostrum is a yellowish thick fluid secreted by mother during the initial few days of lactation for feeding her child. Fifth one is the urea. A small amount of urea is also present in saliva. Next, second number gland of digestive gland is pancreas. This is a compound gland, that is there are two types of secretions present in pancreas. First of all exocrine, second one is endocrine. Exocrine glands pour their secretions by ducts. These secretes mainly enzymes, digestive enzymes. Second one is endocrine, which are the ductless glands. Their main secretion is hormones. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which we will discuss later in the endocrine system. Now let us discuss the hormonal secretion of pancreas. There are basically two hormones secreted by the pancreas. First one is glucagon, which increases the blood glucose level, and the second one is insulin, which decreases the blood glucose level. So both these hormones work antagonistic to each other, that is opposite to each other. If one increases the glucose level, then the second one decreases that. Now the third gland is liver, which is the most important as well as the largest gland of the human system. It is located in the right side of abdominal cavity below the diaphragm. It is divided into two lobes. First one is left and right lobe. Right lobe is larger than the left lobe. Two ducts arises from these lobes, which are known as right hepatic duct, and the second one is left hepatic duct, which combines together and forms a common hepatic duct. Hepatic is a term which is used for liver. The structural and functional unit of liver, that is the cells by which liver is composed of, are known as hepatic lobules. These are approximately 1 lakh in numbers and are hexagonal in structure. Next organ is gallbladder, which is located just below the liver. It is a thin muscular sac-like structure in which bile is stored. So duct of gallbladder is known as cystic duct. Cystic duct, when combines together with the common hepatic duct, then they are known as common bile duct. So now question arises, what is bile? Bile is a secretive juice which helps in the emulsification of fats. Emulsification means converting fats into the simple absorbable forms so that it may be soluble in the blood. So bile helps in emulsification of fats, and it also activates the fat digesting enzyme, that is lipases. So bile is very important for the fat digestion. Till now we have discussed the organs and glands of alimentary canal. Now we will discuss the chemical reactions involved in digestion. The biochemical reactions involved in digestion are given in your book, page number 13, in a tabular form. First of all, in the first column, organs or glands secreting the digestive juices are given. In the second column, there is name of enzyme. Third column contains the chemical reactions, and the third one is the place of work, that is where that process goes on. First of all, first gland is the salivary gland, whose enzyme is known as the salivary amylase, which is also known as thiolane. It converts starch, that is polysaccharides, into smaller polysaccharides or maltose, that is into the smaller polysaccharides or disaccharides. It works in the buccal cavity. Second one is stomach. The enzymes secreted by stomach are known as gastric juices, in which there are two enzymes. First one is pepsin and second one is renin. Both these enzymes work in the acidic pH which was provided by HCl secreted by the cells known as oxyntic cells. Pepsin and renin converts protein into peptides. Renin is also known as the milk digesting enzymes because it converts a protein known as casein which is present in milk into paracasein. This conversion of casein to paracasein is known as the curdling of milk. That is, it converts the liquid form of milk into a curd-like form. Third one is the pancreas. Pancreas, as I have told you, is a compound gland, secretes both pancreatic digestive juices as well as hormones. We have studied the hormonal secretions of pancreas. Now we will discuss the pancreatic juices. First one is the amylase which helps in the digestion of starch. Second one is trypsinogen which is present in an inactive form known as trypsinogen, which converts into an active form, that is trypsin, by the help of another enzyme, that is enterokinase. That is, enterokinase converts a inactive trypsinogen into active trypsin. It is an enzyme secreted by the intestine. Now this trypsin converts the other hormones present in pancreas, that is carboxypeptidases and chymotrypsin, into active form. This trypsin, chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidase helps in the digestion of protein into simpler form, that is protein is converted into peptides and amino acids. Fifth one hormone is lipase. Lipase is a hormone which converts complex fatty substances into simpler form, that is fatty acids and glycerol. Sixth hormone and the last hormone of pancreas is nuclease. Nuclease converts nucleic acid, that is DNA or RNA, into simpler form, that is nucleotides. Nucleotide is a monomer unit of the nucleic acid. Fourth one is the intestinal juices. The juices secreted by the intestine. These are the secretions which convert disaccharides into monosaccharides. First one is maltase. Maltase converts maltose into glucose. Maltose is a disaccharide composed of 2 units of glucose. Second one is lactase. Lactase converted into the glucose and galactose, because lactose is formed by the 2 units. First one is glucose and the second one is galactose. Third one is sucrase. Sucrase, when converted into simpler form, then it forms the glucose. Fourth hormone is lipase, which converts again fat into simpler form. Fifth one is nuclease, which convert nucleic acid and the monomer unit of nucleic acid, that is nucleotide, into simpler one, that is nucleosides and sugars. Sixth is dipeptidases. Dipeptidase converts the dipeptide, that is 2 units of amino acids, into a single unit of amino acid. Seventh one is phosphatase, which convert nucleotide into nitrogenous base and ribose sugar. Nucleotides basically composed of 3 parts. First one is a ribose sugar, second one is a nitrogenous base attached to the ribose sugar, and third one is a phosphoric acid. Then the last secretion comes from the liver. Liver secretes the bile salts, and bile salts helps in converting fats into fatty acids and fat globule. This is secreted by liver, but it works at the small intestine. Now let's start the discussion of mechanism of digestion, which starts from the mouth and finally ends at the anus. First of all, by mouth, food enters in buccal cavity where saliva is present, in which 30% of starch is digested and food becomes sticky and softer, a ball-like structure, that is a bolus, which comes in esophagus. By the peristaltic movement in the esophagus, food reaches to the stomach, where in presence of acidic medium by HCl and the protein digesting enzyme pepsin, digestion takes place and food stores for 4 to 5 hours. Then food comes in the small intestine, in which maximum digestion and absorption takes place. In the duodenum part, digestion takes place, and in jejunum and ileum, absorption of nutrients, water, mineral and salts takes place. In small intestine, Three types of the secretions are present. First of all, from the pancreas, the pancreatic digestive enzymes known as pancreatic juices. Second one is the bile secreted by liver and stored in the gallbladder, also at last secreted in the small intestine. And the third one, its own secretion, that is the intestinal juices, together acts on the food and digested. Then it comes to the large intestine. It mainly composed of the undigested food and there is a little amount of absorption of water and fats. At last food comes in the rectum, which is a storage chamber for feces, and through the anal canal it finally goes outside through anus. Now let us study the disorders of digestive system. This topic is not given in your textbook. But you might have heard about these common terms, or some of you may be suffered from these diseases sometime or other. First one is the jaundice, in which liver is affected, skin and eyes turn yellow due to the deposition of bile pigments. Second disorder is vomiting. Vomiting is the ejection of stomach contents through mouth. Third one is diarrhea, in which there is abnormal frequency of fecal discharge and liquidity of fecal discharge increases. There is reduction in the absorption of food. So, problem lies in the absorption of food. Fourth one is the constipation, in which feces remains in the rectum and the bowel movements or fecal discharge becomes irregular. Fifth and the last one is the indigestion, in which food is not properly digested. There are many reasons behind the indigestion, like anxiety, food poisoning, spicy food, overeating. So, our digestive system chapter is completed here, and in the next class we will discuss the respiratory system.